much, but we have to get into the card that the WNBA and NBC Sports pulled. They basically said, look, we're having a season with or without you players.
Stop what you're doing right now. Turn off the TV, close your other internet pages, put your phone on silent, and lock the door. We're not just talking about a sports story today. We're watching the worst business mistake in professional sports history. You thought the WNBA couldn't embarrass itself more after messing up the Rookie of the Year award, leaving players off the Olympic team, and having terrible referees? You were wrong. They just made it worse. We're hearing from many people that the WNBA, led by Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, officially warned Caitlin Clark about her new job with NBC Universal. You heard that right. They didn't thank her for saving their league. They threatened her. They sent her a legal paper telling her to be careful because her new broadcasting job with the NBA and Olympics might be a problem. This is war. The WNBA is driving itself off a cliff. To understand how crazy this warning is, look at the facts. Caitlin Clark is a rookie who makes about $76,000 a year. That's really low pay for a professional athlete. It's less than what the Denver Nuggets mascot makes. But the WNBA has the nerve to tell her she can't go make millions of dollars with NBC. They're treating someone they pay like an intern as if they own her, like she's LeBron James making $50 million a year. It's so unfair it makes you angry. The league is basically saying, we own you. You work for us first. NBC is just your second job. Wait a minute. When your second job pays you 50 times more than your main job, the second job is your main job. Caitlin Clark doesn't work for the WNBA anymore. The WNBA needs Caitlin Clark. She brings in all the money. Instead of being grateful and begging her to stay, they're trying to control her like she's their pet. Let's talk about this conflict of interest excuse because it's totally silly. The league says that because NBC shows NBA games and Caitlin will promote the NBA, she's not committed enough to the WNBA. Are you serious? Promoting basketball helps all basketball. If Caitlin Clark is on TV every Sunday during football season or covering the Olympics, talking about basketball and maybe wearing WNBA clothes, that's free advertising. You can't buy that kind of marketing. But the WNBA is so scared and insecure that the NBA will steal attention from them that they're willing to hurt their own success just to make a point. It's weak. It's loser thinking. The league isn't used to being important and doesn't know how to handle being popular. But here's the darker truth the news won't talk about. This warning didn't just come from some lawyer. It came from inside the locker room. It came from pressure from older players. We've been reporting for months about how jealous and angry some players are. You have veterans who worked hard for 10 years playing in Russia and Turkey, getting hurt for very little money. Then they see a 22-year-old rookie flying on private jets, signing huge deals, and becoming the face of NBC. They're really mad. They're furious. We're hearing that the players' union and veteran leaders have been complaining to the commissioner, yelling, "It's not fair. Why does she get to do this? Is she only a part-time player now? If she misses practice for NBC, will you punish her?" The league is giving in to the angry mob. They're warning Caitlin to make the jealous veterans happy and show them, "See, we're tough on her too. She's not more important than the league." But here's what Commissioner Cathy Engelbert needs to understand before she destroys everything. Caitlin Clark is more important than the league. That's not just my opinion. It's a fact. Look at the TV ratings, attendance, and merchandise sales. Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA goes back to being unpopular. Without her, they wouldn't have gotten that new $2.2 billion TV deal that pays everyone's salary. She brings in all the money. You don't threaten the person who brings in all your money. If the WNBA thinks they have power here, they're fooling themselves. What will they do? Suspend her? Please, go ahead and try it. Suspend Caitlin Clark for working at NBC. The moment they suspend her, she becomes a hero. The entire fan base will turn against the league. You think people are upset now? If they punish her for this, fans will destroy the league. Nobody will buy tickets. Nobody will watch games. The sponsors like State Farm, Gatorade, and Nike support Caitlin, not the WNBA. They're investing in her, not the league logo. If the league fights with Caitlin, sponsors will leave so fast your head will spin. Let's talk about the legal problems. Because NBC Universal is huge. NBC is owned by Comcast. They have lawyers who cost more money than all WNBA players' salaries combined. If the WNBA tries to stop Caitlin from working for NBC, they're going to get sued badly. NBC didn't hire her to sit on the bench. They hired her to be the star of their shows. They have plans, advertisements, and the Olympics coming to Los Angeles. Do you think NBC will let a small league like the WNBA control their TV schedule? Absolutely not. This is a battle between a giant NBC and a tiny lizard, WNBA. The WNBA is bringing a knife to a nuclear war. It's embarrassing and shows they don't understand business. That's why people are calling this disgraceful. Caitlin Clark's team has stayed quiet in public, but privately, sources say they're confused. They're looking at this warning and asking, do you want us to leave? Because that's the message the league is sending. They're basically telling Caitlin, you're too successful for us. We can't handle you. We don't want you to succeed unless it's our way. That's a dangerous game to play with such a talented player. Caitlin Clark has choices. She could play in Europe for $5 million a year. She could start her own league. She could quit basketball tomorrow and make $20 million a year just being a TV broadcaster. She doesn't need the WNBA. The WNBA needs her. The fact that they don't understand this is scary. It proves the people running the league don't know what they're doing. They're crashing the ship into an iceberg because they're too proud to change direction. Think about what message this sends to future players. Think about Juju Watkins and Paige Beckers. They're watching this. They're seeing how the league treats its biggest star. They're seeing the meanness, the warnings, and the lack of support. And they're remembering, why would Paige Bueckers want to join a league that tries to control the money she makes outside basketball? Why would Juju Watkins want to save a league that hates its heroes? This isn't just about ruining the relationship with Caitlin. It's about ruining things for the next 10 years. The WNBA is telling every future superstar, we will punish you for being successful. That kills a sports league, and look at the timing. They gave this warning right when the NBC News was at its peak, right when people were excited. They stepped on their own good news. Instead of the story being WNBA star takes over media, the story is WNBA continues petty war. They ruined the happiness. They always ruin the happiness. Every time Caitlin does something amazing, the league finds a way to wreck it with politics. It's exhausting. Being a fan of this league is exhausting because you're constantly fighting against the stupid decisions of the people in charge. We just want to watch basketball. We just want to see greatness. But the league is obsessed with power struggles. So what happens next? That's the big question. Will Caitlin back down? Knowing her competitive personality and how she handles pressure, absolutely not. She's going to show up on NBC. She's going to hold that microphone. She's going to interview LeBron James and dare the WNBA to do something about it. She's calling their bluff. And when she does, the WNBA will have two choices. They can either suspend her and destroy their league, or they can back down and look weak. There's no way for the league to win here because they picked a fight they can't win. They trapped themselves. If I were giving Caitlin Clark advice right now, I'd tell her to go even harder. I'd tell her to wear her NBC jacket to the arena. I'd tell her to do a live TV interview from the locker room, force the issue, make them look ridiculous, and show everyone how unfair this is. Because the only way things change is if fans and sponsors get angry. We need to make it clear that we're not watching the WNBA for the boring rules. We're watching for the talented players. And if the leaders get in the way of the talent, the leaders need to go. Kathy Engelbert needs to quit. The leadership needs to be replaced. We need people in charge who understand modern media, who understand how creators make money, and who understand that you support your stars. You don't drag them down. This warning is actually a badge of honor for Caitlin. It proves she's outgrown the league. She's a whale in a swimming pool, and the lifeguards are blowing their whistles because she's making too big of a splash. It's pathetic, but it's also a sign that the current WNBA is ending. The league as we know it is headed for collapse if they don't change immediately. You can't survive a war with your own fans, and make no mistake, the fans are on Caitlin's team. I want to know what you think because this is the most important moment of the off-season. Do you think the WNBA has any right to give this warning? Is there a real conflict of interest, or is this just jealousy disguised as legal talk? And if they suspend her, are you done? Will you cancel your league pass? Let me know in the comments. We need to make our voices heard right now because they're listening. They're scared of the backlash, so let's give it to them. Let's show them we see through the lies. Let's show them we support the players who grow the game, not the bosses who block them. This is a disgrace. It's a disaster. And it might be the beginning of the end for the WNBA leadership.